drawing today chords. So this is a wonderful board for doing that. So I'm going to ask this young lady, let's see, we're going to start over here. I'm going to ask you to draw a C major chord, a blocked chord. This is a harmonic chord. It's called a block chord. Let's look at that. Is that a C major chord?
Yes.
What are the notes in the C major chord?
The C major chord, the notes in the C major chord are C, F, and A.
I want you to look up here. Here's a C major chord. If you played that, what would be the notes of it? This lady knows. This young lady student knows. But sometimes when you're drawing, it's a whole nother ballgame. You're just like, oh yeah. And you can watch if you want and learn from this. Okay, so notice, are they all in lines or spaces?
All in lines.
Then man, come over here and watch. Okay, so they're all in lines. Okay, so that's called C major. How would you label that? C major. That is awesome. Capital C M. Okay, can you draw me a C minor chord? Do you see that? So you have both the same letters, right? Doesn't matter. You don't have to put a D sharp here instead. It would all be the same skipping letters, C, E, and G, right? In triads. Okay, C minor. And you could lower case C and lower M. Good. Okay, draw us a C diminished chord. C diminished, it still keeps the same letter names, right? C, E, and G, but then you add your accidentals to it. Awesome. C diminished. Let's see how she draws her diminished. Cool. Have you ever seen them draw a degree sign? Have you ever seen this? So you underneath put C and put a little degree sign. That's another way to identify and label a diminished chord. Okay, let's draw a C major chord again. C major. Good. Label it. This is a cool chord. And now we're going to add our C augmented chord. Augment means to increase something, right? Very good. Awesome. Let's see how she labels it. Oh, she knows the trick to put the plus sign. So sometimes you'll see AUG, aug, or you'll see the plus sign. It's just a shortcut of how to write them. So then the student could play these, right? So that's awesome. So notice that you keep, on these chords, you're keeping the same letter, C, E, G. Even though you have black keys in here that could be named sharps, you wouldn't mix the two, right? So you're always keeping that. Okay, let's do another one. Let's erase that and let's try some others. I'm just going to randomly ask you to draw some chords. This is a great way to test your students after you've taught the concept. Okay, so how about, are you ready? Let's try the G augmented chord. She's up for the challenge. She doesn't care. So after you make it, I'll let her think. While she's thinking, G augmented. So she's going to use her keyboard, which is a smart move on her part.
Actually, what I'm going to do, I can't think right now.
G augment. So do you know what a G major chord looks like?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do to a major chord to make it augmented? There you go.
I was just thinking before, some notes, some keys, you would already find one of the notes would be flatted or sharped. And one way to find that out is G doesn't have any flats or sharps in these notes. But if you could, a way to find it out, if you have just the letter G, you could lower it a half step to F sharp, and then you can find that out by writing out the sharps. Or wait, F sharp.
You would write
just has the one. No, wait. Sorry. So anyway, if you could, then you could find the F sharp, and then you could write that out. You
could write the whole scale out. You could. So right now we're just going straight to chords, but yeah, she's thinking about the F sharp is in the G major scale. Okay, so how about it? Okay, I'm just going to change keys. Okay, we're going to pretend we're in the key of F sharp major. Could you draw me an F sharp major chord? So we know when we draw chords in root position, they're always skipping letters only, right? Doesn't matter if black keys or not, but we're doing skipping letters. So F sharp. Now here's another cool way to do F sharp. Did I ask F sharp major? So here's another cool way to do chords. So you have, if you count them by half steps, right here is F sharp, right? And if you count half steps, you count 1, 2, 3, 4. So F sharp, you're counting up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you do 3. And these are the 3 notes of the F sharp chord. So a major chord equals 4 half steps plus 3. This is another way. So, and there's so many ways to come up with the answer, but I'm showing you another way. So let's make this easy. Let's do C, E, and G for the C major chord, right? Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That's the notes of your chord. So let's see if you can figure out the names. You've already put the letters in. They have to be those letters, no matter what. Because they're in a triad, you were skipping letters only. We can't have neighboring letters. Okay, so F sharp.
Wait.
So you're going to make it an F sharp.
To make it a major, you would sharp them all.
Yes, all of those. Yes, F sharp, A sharp, and C sharp. Yeah, here you go. Awesome. Okay, so that helps you know. And sometimes in music, you'll see it written like this. It's kind of tricky. That's why it makes it so hard to read, is they're really close to each other. You sometimes have them overlap like that. And you're like, ah. Okay, that's F sharp major, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, how would you make that F sharp minor? Okay, I think it's really important for students to know their majors very well, and then they alter them from the other chords. So F sharp minor. So she knows that, and the middle one, she's putting in a natural sign. Yeah, she's even going to plug that in. Awesome. She wouldn't have to put that in there, but because she just drew the F sharp major, that would, if the F sharp major was right here, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, you would have to natural that, right? Awesome. All right, let's see. Would you like to draw your favorite chord, and let's see if I can figure out what it is. So this is a great time when the student can show their information and be the teacher. And then I have to figure it out, see if I understand. Any triad you'd like to write. This is requiring a lot of thinking in the left side of the brain. It's much harder to write these out than it is to play them, folks. And that means that when they can write them out, that means they understand more deeply. And they'll be able to start recognizing these chords and triads in music. So she's coming up with this trick. And many times my students love to do this. They love to be the teacher in the class, in a group class. Cool. And I can learn from my students what they understand. So awesome. So interesting. So she wrote a C and an E flat. And that was an interesting flat sign. Right? Yes. You're not the first one that's ever done that. Right? I'm sure I have. Okay, so that is called C diminished. Is that correct? Awesome. Okay, one more. Let's do one more. And as we're doing this, as you have your students do this, children, then this helps them write, just like writing sentences in English or Italian or whatever language you speak. This helps them write. Oh, wow. I like that one. That one is F augmented. Is that correct?
Yep.
That's very good. Okay. And so if a student is having trouble and they understand, they can see the keyboard and they know how to play it, they can look up here, F, and they can visualize it. Some of my students like to just put their hands on there and play the chord, and then they can write it. But if you notice, you always are skipping letters. You didn't skip 2 letters. You went F, you skipped the G and went to A, you skipped the B and went to C. So you're always skipping letters in the alphabet. You never have neighboring letters when you're writing position chords. Okay, one last thing. Let's do some 1/7 chord. These are really fun. So let's do a C major chord with the 7th on it. Okay, so if we were looking at the keyboard, what would be a 7th above this key right here? If we were looking here, C, E, G, what's the distance of a 7th? Which of these keys would it be? Put an orange dot on it. And that was correct, what you drew. Thank you.
No, you don't need.
Okay, just a second. Okay, there you go. All right. So we have different types of 7th chords, and this is one type. So we're going to draw this down here, and these are always skipping letters. There's no double skips or whatever. So C and E. Yeah, that's a 7th. And we're going to fill in the rest. We're going to make this a C major 7th. Okay, now the 7th there's two types of seventh chords. We're going to talk about that. This is kind of fun. On a seventh, the distance from here to here is a seventh. And also, if we went to B flat, is called a seventh. So this is called a major seventh. And you've learned this interval. So draw me a major seventh, just like the interval of a seventh, like this. Draw that, and then the B above it, right here. And you've been doing this in your intervals, right? Remember? And that's a seventh. And that's called, and then that was called a major seventh, and that one's called a minor seventh. So this is C, capital C, and then it has a little m and a 7 after it. So you're saying that the chord is a major chord with a minor seventh, meaning, remember how it becomes major? So we're going to write a major seventh here, C up to B. If it's in the scale, it's a major, right? And if we have if it has C, major 7, and here let's just draw a major seventh from C, just C and a B. So if you draw C and a B, that's called a major seventh, right? Because the B is in this C, this bottom note is telling us what scale we're in, and the B is in the scale, right? So we always call it major if it's exactly found in the scale, if it's a seventh or a sixth or a second or a third, right? Do you remember? And which ones are called perfect intervals?
Fourths, fifths, and eighths.
Okay, so let's draw a fourth from middle C up. Let's do a perfect fourth. Perfect. And then a perfect fifth. And then she said a perfect 8. Those are called perfect. Very good. Awesome. So she's using her understanding of theory, and as she's doing that, she's learning new concepts along with it. So these music boards are fabulous for students to draw on, for them for you as a teacher or a parent to ask them questions, for them to copy their music on, because writing music is very different from writing words in a sentence in English, right? It's a whole nother language, a whole nother way of thinking. And so a student can play the music, but that's one part of it, but if they can actually draw it, they'll be able to understand their music more deeply. They'll now be able to start looking for the notes, these chords in their music, and they'll have something to rely upon when they memorize their song. They won't be just rotely memorizing, but they have some music theory in their mind that they can say, oh, that's a C major 7. Cool. So this student takes lessons from the St. Martin Music School, which she has done for 7 years. You can find this board at Music Teacher Lessons, and this little student wants to show you things too. But you can find this at musicteacherlessons.com. This board has been sold all over the country to music schools, to parents that have children that take music. And this is the extra large size, but we also have a large, a medium, and a small board. And so the medium is a great size board for students that are traveling in the car or such, and or a music teacher that's doing online lessons. So thanks for watching, and of course, I love it if you click like.